Up next is our second fireside chat. Please put your hands together to welcome the Deputy Head of IT, Almarai, Mr. Ali Saif, and the Head of Vehicle Mobility and Emerging Technology, Abdul Latif Jameel, Mr. Talha Rais Akhtar. The gentlemen will be speaking on shaping the future of digitization of Saudi Arabia.
All right. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be invited to be part of this KSA summit for the digital transformation. I hope, inshallah, that we'll have a very informative, quick panel regarding the digital and how to shape Saudi Arabia digital transformation, along with my colleague Talha Rais. Talha, I will start this panel with one question that we all know that the top 12 digital transformation technology that could help the organization to be in a profitable way and grow and empower the digital transformation are the big data, Internet of Things, cloud computing, blockchain, digital marketing, 3D printings, and so on. So from your point of view and from your perspective, can you explain to us how the cloud computing and the Internet of Things could empower the digital transformation?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Exito, for inviting me. So let me start with a very valid question, right? So digital transformation actually is an avenue to empower organization, generate new digital channels. So these digital channels will help them increase revenue. So how do they increase revenue, right? So they need to have new digital offerings. So one of the critical components to increase the digital offering is we need to have the right tools, the right platforms. So when people generally talk about cloud, they perceive that cloud is for IT, operational efficiency, reducing cost. But ideally, you should have the right platform to digest the humongous volume of data that's being generated from many devices, internet, and then based on that, come to a conclusive decision and insight. So these are very critical. So you should have the right cloud platform to digest the information. And so this is what I would feel is should be the direction. From a kingdom visionary perspective, we all know about NEOM, one of the key, driver to establish that vision is to have a connected smart city where we should combine the power of cloud plus IoT to realize the true benefits. So yes, so I would say that yes, the cloud and IoT are the main corner pillars for setting up a successful digital transformation.
Excellent. So you mean that the well-connected devices in your organization from customer bring a lot of information that can help you in taking decision. This Internet of Things, which now I think it's become the Internet of everything. This terms now changed and developed a lot, where a lot of source of information now are to enhance and collect the information and analyze and do a lot of intelligence on top of that and analysis. And it will lead at the end to make, I would not say accurate, but it's almost right decision, which can make marvelous change in the organization and in the business model. So,
totally agree, yeah.
yeah, so IoT is a big area that need to be focused, and we need to, as a organization, to make a profitable, that we need to focus on this one. And regarding the cloud computing, Mr. Talha, we all know and understand the importance of the cloud computing for all the organization, and how to achieve the digitization in the organization by implementing and go cloud and the serverless site. Most of the organizations as of now, they are focusing on the business. At the same time, they are focusing on the IT tasks, okay? And this may drive the organization to, I don't want to say waste, but focus on things that it can use the ready services for them, which is the cloud. But there are some doubts on the decision maker for the organization regarding the cloud adoption. They are doubting what is their information confidentiality will be if I host my information in the cloud. What is the security level there? So this doubt is there. So can you explain and give us some hints from your experience? Because we are all know that that doubt is there. And I will give some hints here. One event I attended before, and one of our colleagues, he said that cloud computing, it's the same as banks. You put your money there, so your money will be safe there. Can you give us explain in this one, please?
Yeah, that's a very right example. Having the right cloud platform is essential, right? And you need to select the right mode of because each organization, private, public, would have their own, boundaries to fulfill. But, the kingdom really has already established a framework. We are coming up with Sadaya has come up with a new privacy law that would be enforced Q1 of next year. So it specifies clearly that what articles of data, if it's personal data, where it can be stored. It cannot leave the boundaries of the kingdom, right? And certain information cannot be transferred. So all these are addressed, and we will have we already have a clear privacy law stating where the data would be stored, how it can be stored, and as well, who all can have access to that. And they're also coming up with consent management, meaning that suppose I am using my mobile, right, and it's transferring all my data. So I can choose to say, to consent that I don't want my data to be used. And this is enforced, and every organization would have to have this consent management tool for every customer, and the customer has a right to say that, okay, you use my data for 2 years, now stop using it. And once the customer says it, the organization have to follow. So these are really, the cornerstone of privacy that would be implemented, and as I talk to many partners from cloud, all of them are working to ensure that all these concerns for privacy, security are addressed. So inshallah, I think we'll have good progress on this.
Alhamdulillah, with the Vision 2030, we have a lot of introduction of these government rules and regulations regarding this topic. The discussion lead me to ask you, Mr. Talha, about the digital transformation. To adopt the digital transformation in your organization, what are the major tasks that you would follow to attain and realize that your digital transformation is on the right track? What is the approaches that you would follow to achieve the digital transformation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ali. So I think, according to me, I think this was mentioned by multiple speakers. I'll repeat, but this is very critical. There are 4 components. I would say the first component is having the right digital strategy. And we just don't want to say that we just do some initiatives together and all data and this is a digital strategy. No, we should have a clear vision on what business want to achieve, and then the digital strategy will enable the organization to reach that objective and empower them to make decisions to increase revenue. So the first thing is a clear digital strategy. Second cornerstone is we need to have the right operating model. So in the end, in simple terms, the IT operating model means that how I translate the strategy and I do it, right? So this is how we do it, and then this also needs, first of all, sponsorship from the leadership, commitment from all the departments, plus we would have to have a joint partnership with and marry the IT and the business units together so they own the products and then they execute. So that's the second thing. So I was saying the first one was strategy, operational operational strategy, operational model. The third one is having the right culture. So we should have acceptable change management. Secondly, we should empower the people to make decisions. Thirdly, we should build tools for collaboration so that they will be able to work together within the organization, with outside partner, with government entity, and finally focus on the customer to give him the right, to give him or her the right customer experience. So, and finally, I would say that after this, the final key component is having a very solid underlying IT infrastructure as a backbone, like the ERPs, the CRM should be there for you as a foundation to build your digital capabilities. So these four elements are very key for us to ensure that the digital transformation is successful.
Sure, Mr. Talha. The process transformation, the culture change, the support from the management as IT heads, that we need a budget, we need funds from the top management to achieve and adopt the digital transformation in our organization. So from my experience, I need to highlight this one here, is that once you built the use case and you present it to the management and show them the benefits of changing the traditional way of doing things and how the digital transformation will make, yes, its retention on the investment will not come in one day, but it will need some time to realize that what you did is profitable for the organization. So we need to build our use cases, we need to present it in a very well manner to our management, and select the experts in this field who will support the organization to achieve their ultimate objective of the digital transformation. Thank you, Mr. Talha. Another question, Mr. Talha, that from your point of view and from your experience, what is the benefit, okay, of why we need to have the digital transformation, and what is the benefit of digital transformation in the organization to adopt this one? Just this for our audience to have clarity on this.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. I think this was highlighted by some members as well in the previous panel. So the benefits, if I see, first of all, the first major benefit is customer satisfaction. So what digital transformation will ensure that customer these days are becoming more and more knowledgeable. They don't really expect to fill a 100-page form. They want the right customer experience with the record automation, and people are ready to pay for that. I'm ready to pay extra some amount just to ensure that I get the right service. So the first thing, the major benefit is we get customer the best of satisfaction and experience. So that's what I'll call the cornerstone of the digital transformation. Second is based on the data generated, we can have data-driven insights. So once I have the right transformation track, I extrapolate this data, and based on that, I gain insight and say, okay, I need to now shift from X to Y, and I need to do in a very fast manner. So first of all, that data-driven insight would be a key, and an organization agility to shift gears and focus on the right priorities at the right time is key for to enhance the benefits of digital transformation. It will increase operational efficiency. We're talking about many other benefits. So I just don't want to say it will take maybe a day for us to just list down the activities here. But yes, thank you.
A lot of benefits out of the digital transformation, and for me, one major benefits of the digital transformation, this is just in my point of view, if you don't adopt the digital transformation as of now and you start, you will find yourself one day out of the competition.
I agree.
We are in the era, we are in the revolution, we are now in the fifth revolution era of the. So you need to adopt the digital transformation. You need to compete to just keep yourself competitive in the market. You need to adopt the digital transformation. So it may cause you bad impact. My final question, Mr. Talha, from your point of view, what are the major and what make the digital transformation fail in the organization? So this is very important question to us to understand.
Sure, I think this is critical because once I'm doing a transformation, and if I don't know what others did and they failed, I'll repeat the same thing. So I think one of the most critical items for a transformation is once we start, there are too many requirements, right? And there should be a clear focus on the priority items. So you might get hundreds of requirements, but in the end, what we need to ensure the digital strategy is matching the business strategy, where to focus. So we define the right priority and we focus. That's very key. So if we focus on the subset, it will enable us to be successful. And I think there were some numbers before, 70% of organizations fail. So this was the key, because you cannot focus on everything. You need to focus on the right priority. And here the leadership endorsement is required to ensure this alignment is there. So that is the first point I would say as a key, step or point that organization should ensure that they don't fail. The second one would be that we should have the right people. So having right people means that we should have the right organization structure to deliver the transformation. It should be a mix of business and IT, where they work cohesively as a product team to deliver. Secondly, also, it should have the right sponsorship from the leadership. Again, I'm repeating it, but really this is very critical point that we should ensure, right? So the second point I mentioned was this could be avoided. Third thing is we should have the right collaboration tools so that associates and employees feel empowered to take decisions, and this is what they don't go ahead and then fail later on. So these are maybe the three things that we should focus. And the point to be noted is it makes sense to have a chief data officer, a chief digital officer, to ensure that you have the right people on board to steer the ship and have you a very successful transformation for your organization. So these are the three things, and maybe Mr. Ali, you also have levels of knowledge to add.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Talha, and on top of that, it's what I mentioned to my colleagues always is that the three lacks: lack of experience, and lack of resources, and the lack of strategy. If you have these three, then you will not achieve. So you have to make sure that you have the experience, you have the resources, and you have the strategy to achieve the digital transformation. Thank you, Mr. Talha, to having this panel discussion, and it was very informative to me, Mr. Talha. Really, thank you, and thank you for our host today. And I hope, inshallah, to see you soon, inshallah, in another event, inshallah.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Saif, and thank you, 𝐶𝐲𝐿 and everyone. Thank you. It was a pleasure.